Knowing what you know now, part of your role, your identity is you're advising game designers, entrepreneurs who look up to you. What's your advice to them in finding a compatible co-founder? And then let me contextualize this question a little bit. I think it's a lot like dating. We go in with the best intentions. We do some maybe interview questions, date, first date, and they're like, oh, it's pretty good. Let's then start a company together, but effectively getting married. And then you find out later on, holy shit, there's all these things I didn't know about you. So what would you say to younger founders, knowing what you know now about couples dynamics, co-founder dynamics, about vetting the right co-founder for whoever's listening?
Oh man, I think there's tests for this. No, I think you really, you have to use three things. And I keep going back to it. Intuition, because you'll never have enough information in any decision you make, whether it's partners, business, sales, whatever. You'll never wait around for all the information. You can get along great with somebody for 20 minutes, even a year or two. But then when it goes bad, give yourself a legal out. Make sure you have a partnership agreement. It's nice to have a handshake, but if it goes bad, trying to untangle something is tough. We didn't have one for the first year of our existence. We just couldn't afford it. Just couldn't afford it. But we were men of our words, and we lived up to it. So when we got partnership agreement. Now you got literally there's physical things you can do. If they're young, you can check their Facebook. You can have conversation. I think most people are more aware now of other people than they used to be. Just make sure they don't have your same skill set. I think you said that earlier. It's the same thing. It's for goodness sakes. Make sure you're compatible. Make sure you are compatible. And then cross your fingers. How's that for a technical term?
Thank you. No, that's actually really great. I really love that you underlined the clause about the legal out clause. I think it's like a prenup, essentially, right? A prenup, postnup. So that way,
you never look at them. You're never supposed to look at a contract. You sign it, you put it in the drawer, and hopefully you never bring it out. You just leave it in the drawer. But when you need to, you'll get into a he said, she said. Kind of going through one of those with an investment I made. The two owners, exactly what we're talking about. They're friends, not ending that way, and they don't have a partnership agreement. So it's very difficult. Cover yourself legally. That's all this stuff all these things we're talking about, ego and emotion and heart-centered. There's legal things you need to do to protect yourself as well. If you're going to be in business, if you're going to put yourself out there, if you're going to be with other people where there's money involved, where there's business involved, get your trademarks and copyrights, get your partnership agreements, get your buy and sell agreements. You may not need it at first, but eventually you will. So cover yourself.
Yeah, for sure. I want to actually add two more things. I think that may be helpful. I actually learned this. Will, the president of Mattel, he said, before I got into any relationship with a woman, in this case, he was talking about romantic relationships. He said to really pay attention to how you feel around them. Do you feel great about yourself? Like, were you being around them?
Yeah.
Or do they make you feel bad about yourself? Right? That's a good indicator of the future to come. So pay attention to that.
Absolutely. I mean, that's what I say, intuition. But intuition is also a visceral reaction. So it's not just your brain saying, this feels right, this feels good. If they're making you uncomfortable, you'll know. You'll know exactly, as you say, you'll know how you feel. Because do you want to have dinner with them 5 nights a week? That's the same thing. How do you feel? Because you're going to be with them all the time. So feeling, intuition, do you get breaking a cold sweat? Just pay attention to physically how you feel or how you're reacting. I completely agree. Completely agree. And with COVID right now, and we're all online, it makes it a little more difficult. You know, you're not around each other as often, but you'll know. You'll know.
One other thing I want to put in, and this is for me, I think it's important. I want to see them when they're really challenged. So I would take them to an ayahuasca ceremony or a Spartan race or a cold bath or some kind of a thing, such that I can see, oh, okay, here's how they're dealing with external stresses.
Right.
But I want to see that. So then that way also they see it for how I react as well.
Right. But if